Hi everybody, this is Tracee. I'm going to let a couple of people get onto the webinar with us, or to the live with us, and hook up my camera because I am trying to double task here today. But welcome to my first live on health. This is part of my series called the Millionaire Academy. And what I plan on doing is teaching families on how to improve in their faith walk, their health walk, and their wealth walk. So faith, health, and wealth, three of the most important things in every family's life. I appreciate those of you who've joined me live, and I know other people will be joining me. And I encourage you to share this. This is going to be some incredible, valuable information, and I'm going to get started in just 9 seconds. So share, and tag somebody that you know that needs to hear more, and we'll get started here in just a moment. You know, last year I did a whole series of calls that I did called Tracee's Arsenal, your battle plan for better health. And these Arsenal calls are available on my website at no charge. They're free, and I think they're just hugely important. So I see that my business partner, Carol Neal, has joined me. So many people joining me from around the country, and I know others will be as well. I get fired up when you give me a few little hearts and thumbs ups, and so I appreciate that so much. It really does fire me up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start another recording here, and hopefully this will work. And I'm going to dig right into it because this is important information. I see my good friend Amy has joined me as well. She's Aim for Good Health. She's amazing, and a lot of amazing women on this live today. But let's get started. Let's do it now. I'm glad you're here, Rhoda. All right, so I'm not gonna welcome any more people because I think it's just really important that that you get this information, and I'm gonna make it right at 15 to 20 minutes, which is gonna be a good record for me. So again, my name is Tracee Randall, and I'm launching a new company and program called the Millionaire Academy. And with the Millionaire Academy, I'm going to be doing some training and some teaching and some webinars on how to improve and how to walk in what I call miracle territory in your faith, your health, and your wealth. Building a big business, creating wealth mindsets. And today's talk is about milk. Why we should never ever, why I put on the post why I would never feed my grandchildren milk. And you know that when a grandmom's heart is involved, it is the real deal. Now, I've been working, a little background on me, I've been working very closely with Bob Wright, who's the founder of the American Anti-Cancer Institute, which is a nonprofit that educates on the natural treatment and prevention of disease. I've been working alongside Bob and his protocol for over a decade now, and we have together done some incredible things with families with their health. It has been an incredible journey, and I like to quote Bob from his book because it's a great resource. This is the first edition of Bob's book, Killing Cancer, Not People. I've been using this book since 2000, oh gosh, as soon as it came out. I love it. It's powerful, and what Bob shares in this book are facts about how to prevent and treat naturally disease such as cancer. But what Bob shares in his book is just this: the only defense against cancer and disease is a strong immune system. So I like to make it really simple. If you're a mom or a grandmom, let's keep this really simple. Here's what you need to know. The only way that we can stop the statistics that are growing in the world today in regard to sickness, disease, and specifically cancer is to make some changes that will improve our immune system, that will keep our immune system strong. Our only defense against cancer and disease is a strong immune system. And it's a really simple process. We make it way too hard. And I'm going to go to my notes, and I want to talk a little bit about some statistics. And I do speak the truth here. What I know is that too many of your family members are dying needlessly of cancer. Too many of our loved ones are dying needlessly of cancer. And if they're not dying, they are being diagnosed with this disease. And here's why I know that it's happening to your family, your friends, the people that you love and care about. Because facts are facts. I don't like to share the facts. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. But at the end of the day, we have to really get our heads out of the sand. We have to stand on our soapbox and say, enough is enough on my watch. So I'm going to be talking really bold, really strong. I wish I had my soapbox here that I could be standing on, but I don't have it. So here we go. People are dying needlessly of cancer and other diseases. Now let me share with you some of the stats, because knowledge is power. And remember, I'm going to share the not so good news first, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you some solutions. But the stats are that 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in her lifetime. 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed. Ladies, that means our sons, our nephews, our husbands, our fathers, our uncles, the men that we love and care about. 1 in 2 will be diagnosed with cancer. But moms and grandmoms, it gets really worse than that. And the truth of the matter is that cancer is the #1 killer of our children today. Now, why is that, and how can we change it? Because here's what I also want to share with you. 21,000 people die every single day of cancer. 21,000 people. That's unacceptable. And we've got to stop it. Now, 21,000 people, I really want you to think about this, because I think what happens is we become extremely, we kind of get sheltered from it, or we don't really even think about what we're saying. We just say these things, and it really, if you think about it, if you let, as women, we don't want this to get into our heart and our spirit, but 21,000 people on a daily basis, dying of cancer. Well, that's the equivalent of 5 jets falling out of the sky. If you can imagine, if this afternoon suddenly there was a news report that 5 jets had fallen out of the sky and every person on those jets had died, that would make a huge headline news, wouldn't it? What if 1 jet fell out of the sky? It would make the news. We would be talking about it. How did that happen? How could that possibly happen? And yet, the equivalent of 5 jets falling out of the sky, people are dying on a daily basis of this disease. Now, if you ask me, we have to make some changes, and we have to make them now. It's past the time for us to sit back and just, wish it would go away. You see all of those things on Facebook, on social media, cancer sucks, I hate cancer, we all hate it. But it's time not to just hate it, it's time to change some things that will matter, that will make a difference, not just for today, moms and grandmoms, but for tomorrow. See, the next generation of babies are being born with cancerous cells already in place, which means that more and more of our children are going to become that statistic if we don't do something to change. So what I want to share with you is that I think the word cancer has become so commonplace that we just, try not to think about it happening to our family. It happens to someone else, your neighbor, someone at your church. When their child is diagnosed with cancer or a tumor, we don't want to think about it touching our family. But moms, I'm here to plead with you to think about this today and really hear my words. You're going to have to do something different than what we've done in the past and in this recent past. You're going to have to make some changes that are outside of the status quo. You're going to have to really be that mom that says, not on my watch, not with my kids. And the only way you can do that is if you have knowledge, because knowledge is power. And the Bible tells us that we die from lack of knowledge, and I'm thinking here that we are dying literal deaths for lack of knowledge about the subject of nutrition and wellness. So now I want to stop right here and make a disclaimer, because this is hugely important. I just want to say that I'm not here to give anything that would cure or treat anything. I'm not making any medical claims or anything like that. No one that I've referenced, the American Anti-Cancer Institute, we don't make any claims to cure, treat, or heal anything. But what we do know is that given the right nutrition, our body is designed to heal. It's designed to be healthy. But the problem is that we're putting too many things into our children's body that are weakening their immune system. But they're already born with weakened immune systems, with cancerous cells. This is the first generation that has been born with cancerous cells. And now what we're doing is we're putting foods into our children's body and products on our children's bodies that are toxic, that are weakening the immune system. Now, what I know is that it can seem overwhelming, and that's why I'm doing these short videos to talk about some very specific things that you can do, that you can change, that will change the health profile of your family. So I have a new hashtag, and if somebody is where they can hashtag this is my new hashtag, and it's the lies we've been eating. The lies we have been eating is my hashtag. Because where is this info coming from about milk? You know, there's something called the food pyramid, and part of the food pyramid is that we should have, 2 glasses of milk every single day. And so many of you that are watching this video, you get this, you already know this, but you would be blown away. Thank you, Yvonne. You will be blown away at the moms who are still feeding their children milk every day because they believe that it's okay. And actually, they believe that it's a source of calcium for their children. But I'm going to prove to you why it is not a source of calcium and why it doesn't work. So I'm going to talk fast, but the food pyramid came about, and we're supposed to get 2 glasses of milk per day, and moms are putting it in their kids' cereals every morning, and we won't even go there, we won't even touch that. But what milk is actually doing is poisoning our bodies. So you're saying to me as a mom, well, why is it that there's this food pyramid that says that we should have milk as children? Well, I want to shed some light on this lie, because the food pyramid was actually put together by the dairy industry. So you have to know the source of your information. And we were fed that lie many years ago, that dairy was good for our children, but that food pyramid was put together partially by the dairy industry. You see, what happens is that the different food industries absolutely are lobbyists. They are a company, a business, a multi-billion-dollar industry. So they paid to create that food pyramid that truly has not served us well. And so the fact of the matter is there's no clinical trials, no scientific evidence that children even need milk. In fact, it has come to the surface that milk is poison. So cow's milk, let's talk about it. When a mother cow gives milk, it's to actually feed her calf. So really only baby calves should get cow's milk. So what should our babies be drinking? Of course, as infants, they were designed by God to drink breast milk of the mother, the human mother, not the milk of the cow. What was the milk of a cow designed to do for that calf? It was designed by God to make that calf get fat. A cow is supposed to be fat. And so a cow drinks its mother's milk to get fat. And so our human babies are only supposed to drink mother's milk. So a toddler drinking cow's milk, now what's happening is, no, we are not baby cows. Let's see. So it is not healthy for our infants and our babies to drink a cow's milk. And of course, most infants, human infants, are not fed cow's milk. They're fed either breast milk or soy milk or formulas or different things. And it's usually when they're toddlers that they start to drink that milk. But guess what? What we know is that cows right now, even let's put aside the fact that milk is acidic. Let's put aside that milk is a poison to children. Cows are being fed antibiotics and steroids, which is extremely unhealthy. And these steroids and antibiotics are going into our milk source. And now not only do we have a very acidic poison that our children are drinking, now it's full of steroids and hormones that are causing all kinds of issues in our children. I get this information from some of the sources, and remember, when you're talking about something, you always want to consider the source. Bob Wright has no financial affiliation with any of the things that he endorses. He actually is a nonprofit that just educates. Then you have Ty Bollinger, who did The Truth About Cancer. And these men and men like them and women like them actually are educating us on what's good and what's bad, and they have no financial attachment to whether you drink milk or not. The people that have attachment to whether you drink milk or not is the dairy farmers, and I'm just sorry, but that's what it is. So what happens when our children drink milk? Well, it forms a mucus, and it causes our body to be acidic. Now, another thing that Bob shares in his book is that cancer cannot grow in an alkaline environment. And when babies are born, their bodies are alkaline to begin with. If they're healthy, I actually do question whether they actually are being born alkaline today, but they're supposed to be born with a very alkaline environment. And then what we do is we put things in their body from that point on that starts to make them more acidic. Well, cancer can grow and thrive in an acidic environment. If for no other reason alone that milk is acidic, is why you should stop feeding your children that milk. But not only that, it causes a mucus to grow, which means that typically what happens is our children will develop asthma and allergies, really based on that mucus that happens when a child drinks milk. Now, you might be saying, well, my child drinks milk and they don't have asthma or allergies. You're right. Maybe they don't, not right now. But what happens is over a period of time, as your child grows and grows and grows, the immune system begins to weaken even more. So at some point, your child, the seeds that we sow, the fuel that we put into our bodies, at some point will make a difference. I like to compare the human body to a vehicle, a car. So if you have a luxury car and you put some bad gas in it the first time, well, it might not break down on the side of the road. You might not even notice the car that it has a bad gas or the wrong fuel in it. But if you consistently, week after week, fill that car with bad fuel, the wrong fuel, what's going to happen is at some point it's going to break down on the side of the road. And you're going to throw your hands up and go, oh my gosh, why did my car break down? Well, see, that's what's happening to our children, our babies, our grandchildren. Moms, what's happening is that we're feeding our babies the bad fuel over and over and over again. And at some point that there's a tipping point and there's a diagnosis of some sort. That's just how it is. For every seed, there's a harvest. If it's a good seed, then it's a good harvest, health. If it's a bad seed, then you're going to have a bad harvest, which is, disease and possibly even death. So this is a great quote by the junior health minister by the name of Ann Mitten. Listen to this. The national programs to supply free milk to children under 5 should be abolished. Milk is neither an essential nor important part of a human diet. It contains no nutrient that cannot be found in a balanced diet. So one of the reasons that they tell us supposedly that we should feed our children milk is because of the calcium. Our children need calcium for their bones. That is a lie. The milk might have calcium for baby calves, but we cannot as humans even absorb the calcium in cow's milk. Our bodies are not designed to do that. So what we're doing is we're doing the opposite of what we want. And parents, no guilt up until today, because if you didn't know this information, then you can't, you know, there's nothing there's no guilt here. But now that you've heard this information, you have to make some changes. So let's see, it takes a baby cow 47 days to double in birth weight, and that's what cow's milk is designed to do. Well, for calves, for human babies, it takes 180 days to double our birth weight. We are not designed to drink milk. Now, you say, well, Tracee, what about the fat-free milk? Because, you know, in the skim milk, surely that's good for us. No, it's not. It's very unhealthy. And I shared this earlier, that I actually was raised on milk. I'm a baby boomer. I drank skim milk for years, 2 to 3 glasses a day, all throughout the day. I'll have to tell you that I was addicted to milk. I loved it. I loved the way I thought it made me feel. I loved the taste of it. I craved it. And now I know that it was actually some things that are being put into the milk that's making that happen for me. But it was a challenge when 3 years ago I was challenged by someone to give up milk, cow's milk. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I decided to give it up is because, in spite of the way I was eating, which was very green, very healthy, you know, I was very aware of everything that was going into my body. The one big flaw I believe I did have 3 years ago was that I was a milk drinker, and I gave it up. And the reason I gave it up is because I was having some digestive issues. I would just every single day around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, my stomach would bloat out like I was 6 months pregnant. It would be very hard and painful. It would hurt. And I tried to figure out what was at the root of it. And I went through everything I was eating and drinking. And the only thing that I could possibly see that could be detrimental was the milk. So I gave up milk for 21 days. And almost immediately my stomach digestive issues changed. I didn't have the bloating. I lost weight. I felt better. I had more energy. And the thing of the matter is that it wasn't immediately after I drank the milk that these issues were happening to me. It was just randomly during the afternoon, during the day. And a lot of times I would drink milk to try to settle my stomach, and I was putting in the very thing that was causing the issues. So if I can stop drinking milk, you can too. But more importantly, your children need to stop drinking it. Real quickly, what about cheese? What about yogurt? What about things that are made of milk? I know it's difficult to give up cheese. It's hard because it's great and everybody wants a good pizza every now and then. But I'm going to encourage you to do the 80-20 rule. Give it up 80% of the time. You know, what Bobby and I do is we agree that once a month we'll have something that's cheesy and decadent and that we know isn't good for us. Once a month, maybe twice a month, but not every day. Give up that yogurt. Set it aside. Here are some of the lies that they've been feeding us about milk, and actually here are some things that milk causes. Get this: sinus problems, ear infections, runny nose, head colds, sinus headaches, tension headaches. All of these things are things that are caused by milk. Dark circles under your children's eyes, usually an allergy. Now you might say, well, my child's not lactose intolerant. You know, I took him to the doctor and the doctor didn't say anything about being lactose intolerant. The truth of the matter is we all are. It's just that some people manifest it in different ways, and it might not show up as an immediate thing, but it will show up, like I mentioned earlier. Another issue, the respiratory problems from the mucus that the milk causes, chronic ear infections, and allergies to other foods. It weakens the immune system every time a child drinks a glass of milk. So stomach difficulties, constipation, ulcers because of the acidity, diverticulitis, inflammation. Someone on here has put something about inflammation. You know, why are we putting these poisons in our body thinking we're doing the right things? I have another thing that I found out about milk that I thought was really interesting. For women and girls, they tend to have a worse, more PMS issues when they drink milk. Young girls, the hormones, the steroids, and all of the other things we talked about. Girls who drink milk tend to have more cramping with their menstrual cycles, heavier menstrual flow for milk drinkers. So all of these things are so important. So I am 26 minutes in, and I really wanted to stop at 30 minutes. Here's what I'm going to do, because I have a lot more information to share about this subject. What about ice cream? Moms, there are so many great recipes that you can get, and you can make a natural ice cream that tastes great. Bottom line is, you have to make some changes. Now, I did a call in April of 2015, and it's a 30-minute call. It's powerful, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll put it in the comments, but I want you to go to my website, TraceeRandall.com, and listen to this call that goes along with this live video. I'm going to give you the number, and then I'll type it in the comments, or maybe someone can help me out. But the dial-in number is 641-715-3589. Your access code is 928-808#, and the reference number is 23#. It is a phenomenal call. It gives you more information about ice cream and recipes that you can use, and what are some of the things that you can use instead of cow's milk for your children and for your recipes. I also want you to email me, and I'll send you these notes that are very extensive about milk, but easy. I want to keep it simple. My email is Tracee@TraceeRandall.com. Send me an email, and in the email, just go ahead and put milk info. And if I'd love for you to make some comments here. If you want this info, just type in the comments info. You know, what happens is when you comment here and help out this video, what happens is it does get seen by more people. And I think it's hugely important that more people see this. So if everyone that's watched it would just type in info, I'm going to send you the info that you need about this. And I also encourage you to go to my website and check out my Get Mad About Cancer workshop. It is only $25. It's a 2-hour workshop, really powerful, 5 simple steps you can take to help prevent disease. Get mad about cancer, make a decision that cancer won't touch you or the ones that you love. Bob's book is on my website, Killing Cancer Not People. You can buy both of those for just $40, which is a powerful, powerful arsenal in your tool belt. If you're a mom, you definitely want those 2 incredible, incredible resources. And then, of course, just email me and I'll send you free information. It's so important that we educate these moms and these grandmoms on what we can do to make a difference in our families' lives. I believe that we can absolutely change the health, generational health of the families. We can change the statistics. Cancer does not deserve to be the #1 killer of our children, and it is up to us to make a difference. So thanks to all of you who shared this video today. Thanks to all of you who have supported me in getting this information out. Milk, cow's milk, do not feed it to your children anymore. It's a lie. It's the lies that they've been feeding us, and we have to take a stand. We have to walk in miracle territory in our health. We have to make these changes. I'm going to come back on Thursday, this Thursday. I believe that is the 13th. Let me just check. Yeah, July 13th at 10:30 a.m. And I'm going to talk about another subject that I think is really important, and that's should we vaccinate? And let's see, the title of it is The Vaccination Lie. I hope that you will help me promote that one, and let's get these moms informed. And again, thank you to everyone that's been a part of today's video. I hope it's been helpful. Please continue to share it, and let's get the word out. More and more information on my Arsenal call. I'll send that to you too as well, and let's just make some changes. Let's absolutely walk in the greatness that God has intended for our families, in our faith, in our health, and in our wealth. Thanks again to everyone for being here today. This has been Tracee Randall with the Millionaire Academy. Bye, everybody.